Did you know Avacyn Restored is regarded as the Angel set? With 13 Angels of all rarities, Avacyn Restored holds the record for the most Angel cards in a single set. As the third set of the Innistrad block, Avacyn Restored contains 244 cards and is therefore a large expansion. However, mechanically and thematically, the set is a reboot of Innistrad. R&D hedged their bets that wild concepts like transforming double-face cards might not work for a full block, but the opposite happened and players were let down that many core elements of Innistrad were missing from the set. The lead designer was Brian Tinsman, who was well known for lead designing Rise of the Eldrazi, another third set in the block that is also a large expansion. No slouch at design, Brian also led the design teams for Judgment, Scourge, Champions of Kamigawa, Saviors of Kamigawa, Time Spiral, and Plane Chase. After the completion of Avacyn Restored, Brian left Wizards to pursue other game design opportunities. The main storyline of Avacyn Restored was the breaking of the Hell Vault and the release of Innistrad's angelic protector Avacyn and the demon Griselbrand. For the pre-release, stores were able to register for a limited number of Hell Vault pre-release kits. These massive cardboard structures each contained double-sided angel and demon tokens, 20-sided spin-down dice, and jumbo-sized cards from the set. Participants at each event had to complete objectives in order for their store to unseal the Hell Vault and distribute its prizes. Select stores were given Hell Vaults featuring foil versions of the double-sided angel and demon tokens alongside foil versions of the jumbo-sized cards. These foils are extremely rare and now go for a high price. The massive community uproar from the selective nature of who got access to these special Hell Vault kits was significant, and as such, a promotion of its kind hasn't been repeated since. Unlike Dark Ascension that focused on monster tribes, Avacyn Restored concentrated more on the humans. Many cards depicting the human race overcoming their enemies were seen on cards such as Angel of Glory's Rise, Riders of Gavany, and Angel of Jubilation. All 15 basic lands in Avacyn Restored were illustrated by the same artist who worked on the artwork for Innistrad's basic lands. Each land had the same landscape and composition as its predecessor, except with a brighter tone. The reasoning behind this was to depict the change of Innistrad being in despair to a place of hope. One of the most overrated cards to come out of Avacyn Restored was Vexing Devil. This card was predicted to be a red powerhouse, but never saw any success in Standard. Today, Vexing Devil is played in several modern Zoo decks. Avacyn Restored introduced Miracle, a keyword ability on sorcery and instant spells that says you may cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. This mechanic introduced a dexterity component to competitive Magic because as soon as the drawn card touched the rest of the cards in your hand, it was ineligible to play for its miracle cost. The new mechanic had its skeptics, but it did not take long to show its power in Constructed. At Pro Tour Avacyn Restored, featuring the Innistrad block Constructed format, the Miracles deck, piloted by Alexander Hayne, won the tournament in exuberant fashion. Soon thereafter, cards such as Bonfire of the Damned, Terminus, and Entreat the Angels began seeing serious Constructed play. One card that many thought would break the Legacy format barely made a blip. Temporal Mastery is a miracle version of Time Walk. The mythic rare excited many for weeks, but unfortunately did not work as well as many had hoped. The other set mechanic, Soulbond, allows a player to pair up a creature with Soulbond to another unpaired creature to confer benefits to both creatures as long as they remain paired. Originally designed for New Phyrexia, Soulbond was a vital strategy in Avacyn Restored Limited with powerful cards like Druid's Familiar, while others like Wolvir Silverheart and Silverblade Paladin saw most of their success in Standard. Flickering was a theme throughout the Avacyn Restored set. The term Flicker, which originated from a card in Urza's Destiny with the same name, refers to an ability that exiles a card in play, then returns it to the battlefield. Cards such as Cloud Shift and Ghostly Flicker were played in both Limited and Constructed, but the most popular card with the Flicker ability was Restoration Angel. Mostly seen in Naya midrange and Birthing Pod decks, Restoration Angel was an all-star throughout its life in Standard, thanks to its interaction with Thragtusk. Even though it is no longer legal in Standard, this illustrious card continues to see play in modern Jeskai and Abzan decks. Because Avacyn Restored is a large expansion, it is also a standalone draft set. However, the draft format for Avacyn Restored did not live up to the hype from Innistrad and Dark Ascension, and many were left disappointed in the set's limited play. Avacyn Restored introduced the first ever 2-mana planeswalker, Tibalt the Fiend-Blooded. At such a low cost, players anticipated Tibalt to be the next great planeswalker, but when revealed, it was apparent that he was severely underpowered. According to Inside Avacyn Restored, the origin behind Tibalt was inspired by the creative team's desire to create a character who just ignited their Planeswalker spark. Unfortunately, Tibalt's low mana cost limited his abilities, making him unplayable in any successful competitive decks. Today, Tibalt is considered to be the worst Planeswalker card ever printed. The Soratami or Moonfolk are a race native to the plane Kamigawa. This creature type was only printed in Champions of Kamigawa block until Tamiyo the Moon Sage was introduced as the second Planeswalker in Avacyn Restored. Tamiyo entered the Avacyn Restored storyline mainly to discover the mysteries of Innistrad's moon. We didn't hear much from Tamiyo after Avacyn Restored until her return in Shadows over Innistrad almost 4 years later. Craterhoof Behemoth is one of Green's biggest finishers, but it took about 6 months for anyone to realize its potential. The first appearance for Craterhoof Behemoth was in a standard deck entitled Hoof There It Is by Brad Nelson. This deck played plenty of mana-producing creatures, lingering souls, and cards that put others in the graveyard to dig out and cast the 8-drop for a quick 1-attack kill. Today, Craterhoof Behemoth is the primary finisher in Modern and Legacy Elves, using cards like Court of Calling or Natural Order to tutor the Behemoth into play. One of the most controversial pieces of art in the set is Triumph of Ferocity. The counterpart to Triumph of Cruelty, the idea of Garruk having the upper hand on Liliana was taken a bit too literally, and the card is widely perceived to depict sexual violence. The controversy became so widespread that Elaine Chase, Senior Director of Branding and Marketing at Wizards of the Coast, apologized for the artwork in a series of tweets. To this day, there has not been a reprinting of Triumph of Ferocity. Griselbrand, the arch-nemesis of Avacyn, debuted in Avacyn Restored. Griselbrand was such a powerful card that it is currently banned in Commander and is still played in Legacy Reanimator decks. The card's design was inspired from Necropotence, a powerful enchantment from Ice Age that is banned in Legacy and restricted in Vintage. One of the most powerful lands ever printed is Cavern of Souls. With no drawbacks, it has become one of the most significant cards for all tribal decks. No deck involving a specific creature type is complete without a set of Cavern of Souls, including modern powerhouses like Merfolk and Eldrazi. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like or leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.